remember Alton Ellis, yeah, yeah. I remember Alton Ellis, yeah, yeah. La da da da, la da 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 da, la da da da, la da da da. When you turn and you walk through the door, said it hurts me so. I said it hurts me so.
Welcome to Zing TV's New York Links. I'm Kamala Roberts.
And I'm Rich Rich.
Today we have a special show on a tribute to Alton Ellis. We'll be discussing his publishing and copyrights and how future artists coming up in the business can learn from him. We have a panel of guests that consist of Tony Ryan, Pat McKay, and Jerry Harris. We are using this tribute to focus on a few issues in reggae and Caribbean music. The issues of copywriting, artists protecting their intellectual property, artists organizing themselves in a business-like manner.
This is a special occasion for us, and we're glad that you guys can be here to have this discussion. We're taking 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Be right back.
When you look at me and you say goodbye, I said you make me cry. I said you make me cry. So listen to me while I'm saying to you, breaking up is hard to do. Breaking up is hard to do. I cannot let you go now, 'cause my love is so strong. My love is so strong. Said my love is so strong. So listen to me while I'm saying to you, breaking up.
Welcome back to Zing TV's New York Links as we join in on our discussion and memories of Alton Ellis.
Now let's start with Tony over here. Tony, you've been playing his music, you've been selling his music, you've been around Alton for a very long time. What kind of person is he? How would you describe Alton?
A very humble person. Alton is a very, very, very humble person. Back in the 60s, when he came out with Alton and Eddie Murrell, that song literally tore up Jamaica. At that time, I didn't get the chance to meet with Alton, not until he did Dance Crusher. At that time, I got the chance to meet with him, and found him to be very accommodating. Even at that young age, Alton, he wasn't too big to talk to you.
Okay. Now, when you say young age, what age are we talking about?
Oh gosh, by the time Alton might have been teens, I'm pretty sure teens. You know, he wasn't too big to talk to you.
Okay.
You know. To give you an example of the humility of Alton, as he was, I remember when I lived in Canada, so Alton was living at the time, and along with quite a few other artists like Hopeton Lewis, there was this club that was called the Whiff. If you wanted, those days you really couldn't find too many Caribbean people in Canada, let alone Jamaican. In order to really meet some Jamaicans, you had to go to several different places, a couple of places actually. The Barber and the Whiff Club. And I remember they had this stage show that Whitfield was putting on. It was a Sunday night. And Alton was on the billing, and so was Upton. Well, when it was Alton's turn to sing, Alton was singing his heart out. And there was this one older gentleman in the audience who was just heckling him, giving him a hard time. Alton, when they go and sing too tune, when they go and sing too tune. And I don't know what got into Alton, but he said, "You think you can do better, here's a mic." And my little man said, "Oh, really?" And he took the stage. The man took the stage, and Alton handed him the mic. I don't know who this cat was, but this guy was singing his heart out and was throwing some serious legs. Now, Alton, as you know, is a good singer, a good dancer also.
Yes.
He's a member of the Flames. And when Alton realized that this older guy was going to upstage him, Alton said, "Okay, give him the mic." And the crowd tell him, "No, leave the man the mic."
So it's a good thing that he's considered to be a humble guy. It's a good thing.
Very, very humble brother. Very, very humble brother.
Okay.
Now, Pat, briefly tell us your personal experience with Alton. Any personal experiences you've had with him?
Well, the first time I met Alton, I was with a camera crew, not as sophisticated as the Zinc TV crew, but we were all fairly new to the business, and I was impressed with Alton already and a little bit frightened to meet him. And that all went out the window when I met him because, as Tony said, he's a very humble man. He was very easy to speak with and was anxious to be heard, had a story to tell and wanted to be able to tell it. So it was very nice to meet someone the age that he was that had such a big, generous space for me in his heart and also for his fans. He wanted them to understand him beyond his music. He wanted them to know a little bit about the path that he'd walked and for how long he'd been walking it. I didn't meet him until the late 80s, and he was already decades into this business, had conquered, you know, the world, literally, had been touring, as Tony said, since the 60s successfully. So I always remembered that he was respectful because also as a woman in the business, when you're meeting an accomplished male artist, it could go several ways. But I count him as a gentleman in this business, and that's not something that's so common.
Now, Jerry, you heard Pat said she considered him to be a gentleman. Tony said he considered him to be a humble individual. Now, you've recorded with him, you've toured with him. What is it like being in the studio with him for long hours and touring?
I mean,
do you really get to see the guts of the person?
I would say the experience that I had with Alton was more like stage-wise, you know, doing concerts. We did a lot in Japan, you know. Over the years, I've been in the business for quite a long time, from the 70s coming up. So, you know, I usually interact with a lot of vintage artists, you know. And working with Alton, you just understand musicians, you understand the business, you understand people's personality, you know, as far as interact with people. So, you know, as a person in the business for so long, you just know how to deal with the public and deal with the people as far as people in the business. And the experience that I had with him was very pleasant, you know, and the Japanese, they love him too, you know. The guy that just have that pleasant way about him that people just love him.
Okay, so as you toured with him in Japan, what stage of the music was he in? Was he into the rock steady? Was he?
Well, he's into everything. Rock steady, lovers rock, you know, ska, you know. He's into the whole thing about the reggae music and just basically deal with the stage very professional.
Okay.
You know, so, you know, I really respect him a lot, you know.
Okay. We'll be right back with our tribute to Alton Ellis.
Breaking up is hard to do. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. La da da da. La da 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 da.